Aeon Timeline started as a discussion between a group of writers. Since then, the application has continued to grow and expand to suit their needs. Now it encompasses far more than just writing. For the sake of this review, we'll focus solely on the element of writing. Aeon Timeline is a visual timeline application designed to help keep track of any time-based project. Unlike other timeline software that are designed for presentation, Aeon Timeline desired to be different. Designed by writers who saw that most timeline software was not up to the task to be used in efficient ways. Writers constantly change their mind, and thus so will their timeline. The developers of Aeon Timeline wanted more features than just a timeline that tracked the events of their stories, such as keeping track of characters' backstories, relationships between characters, character arcs, and much, much more. The interface of Aeon Timeline is pretty streamlined. When you open up a new document, you are greeted with a list of templates, such as fiction, project, legal, history, and screenplay. We will stick with the fiction template. No need to worry, all are customizable. And yes, you can save your own template for the changes you made. Once the timeline appears, getting started is simply clicking the timeline and giving the event a name. If you want to change the date, you can, as well as the end date. If these dates are different, it'll tell you how long the event is. Cool! If you change your mind on the date, you can simply drag the event along the timeline and it will update. The look of the timeline can be changed through the settings. Do you want it to show in weeks instead of days? How about time? Simply pick it. You can set the zoom of the timeline from days to years, from seconds to billions of years. Everything in settings is pretty much changeable. Entities is where you add characters, locations, arcs, timelines, and time spans. When you create an entity, it does not show up on the timeline. They are meant to be associated with the events and must be added. You can do this by clicking on an event in the timeline. In the inspector, under roles, you can add characters for participations, or observers, or anything you've added. You can also add the location and arc. Creating a character's birthday will tell you how old they are in any event that they are associated with. Did you forget how old your character was when their father was murdered? Simply find the event on the timeline and bam, you got it. You can get a top-down look of your timeline by clicking the counter button in the corner. This will show you different relationships. You can sort by characters, places, and arcs. It will change the layout from the timeline. You can do the same thing for the horizontal layout as well. Well, timeline is great, but how often are you going to use it? Most of the development is going to be done in some other software like Scrivener. No one wants to spend endless hours transferring events from one software to the other. Thankfully, Aeon Timeline can sync with both Scrivener and Ulysses. It's simple. Go to Sync, select the document, and it syncs. A binder will appear with everything in the document. Now all you have to do is drag and drop it onto the timeline. You're done. Once you have dragged something onto the timeline, they are synced. However, all changes are not. You must hit the sync button or the new changes will not be made. All this sounds great, but what if you're writing science fiction and fantasy, and you need a complete unique calendar? Well, Aeon Timeline's got you covered. Under the settings, you can edit the calendar to make it unique. You must do this before you do anything. Once you put an event on the timeline, you can no longer edit the calendar. Everything seems great and is, but nothing's perfect. There are a few things that are just a tad annoying. Take the sync. This should be automatic. You forget to hit one single button and you open the document in Scrivener and you don't find your changes. This can be very disheartening. Imagine you've come up with a brilliant new twist for your novel, and you make the change in Aeon Timeline. A few days go by and you no longer remember the twist, but you remember you wrote it down. Opening up Scrivener and your heart shatters because you don't find the change. All this because you forgot to hit a single button. That's lame. My other issue is with the calendar itself. I've seen both Aeon Timeline 1.0 and 2.0, and the fact that it still does not allow me to have multiple timelines with different calendars in one document is sad. This feature has been requested from the beginning, nearly a decade ago. I'm sorry, I don't care if your polls tell you other features are more requested, all because they use the software for other things than writing. This would be fine if Aeon Timeline was brand new. It's not, and your fellow writers want this feature. It's too bad. With any software, there is a learning curve. Thankfully, Aeon Timeline has several video tutorials on their website. I was able to go through them pretty quickly. They do not answer all the questions that arose from using the software, but that's not their purpose. They're simply there to get you started. Any other questions can simply be found or asked on their forum or YouTube. With all that we get with Aeon Timeline, how much does it cost? Well, you get all this for $50. Yes, you heard me, 50. It's $1 more than Scrivener, and you get far more. It's not bad, just high. 40 seems more reasonable. For me, $35 is ideal. That's due to the lack of multiple calendar feature and no autosync. If you take in consideration the updates that come out, how engaging their customer service is, their 20-day free trial, and the fact that they listen to their customers, well, most of the time, the extra $15 is not too bad. I would definitely not pay more than $50. Aeon Timeline is a great tool for authors who want a visualization of their novel. Able to see where there could be potential plot holes, unforeseen issues long before you write it is great. Even if you do miss something, it's far easier to search a timeline than a 100,000 word manuscript. For a timeline software, it's one of a kind. It's easy to get started and any questions can be found pretty easily. That being said, the lack of autosync between Scrivener and not having multiple unique calendars yet is a drag. This software is a great tool, but it's not a must-have and it's not going to be for everyone. My grade for Aeon Timeline is a straight 7. It's grand. Thank you for watching this review of Aeon Timeline. Let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts of my review, and if you'll give Aeon Timeline a try. If you found this review helpful, please share it on social media. It'll be a great way to help support this channel, as is giving this video a thumbs up, hitting that subscribe button, ring the bell, and turn on all notifications so you know when all software review and other content go live. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you again for watching.